All right, this is Fire Chief Dean Kochanowski with the Dudley Fire Department, back with our revised fire station project. As you may or may not know, our last attempt failed, but we listened to what the people had to say. We reduced the cost by almost $3 million, 2.7 million to be exact. And we reduced the footprint and we moved the location. Those were the three biggest complaints, so we did everything that the people asked us to do, and we have the plan over here, which is available at the fire station or at the town hall. I'll also make it available at the town meeting on October 24th at 7 p.m. at Shepherd Hill Regional High School. What I want to do today is just take us through the station, and we're going to actually try and show the people what issues we have with the fire station. So at this point we'll kind of move through the building. I think we'll do the bay space first. So as you may or may not know, the building was built in 1960. It's the original fire station. The town's never replaced it. As you can see, we have one of the trucks pulled out, but the bay space is really tight. If you zoom over to the ladder and look at the knuckle at the end of the ladder, it clears by 1.5 inches. I was very limited when I was able to replace the ladder, because this is the lowest ladder that they make in the entire world, pretty much, to get in a space this small. And it's going to become an issue in the future when we try to replace the last two trucks of the fleet, which is engine 2 and engine 3, which will be coming somewhere down the road. The building doesn't meet any ADA compliance rules. There's only one bathroom, which is right here off the garage. If you walk a little ways down to your left. We do have 24-hour coverage in this building, and there are males and females, so it doesn't meet any standard. Also, we're unable to raise the heights of the doors at this point because of the second floor. But under the new project, it's going to be a single-story building, which you saw at the plan that was shown at the beginning, which again is available to all town residents. When you remove the second floor, you'll be able to lift the door heights up, but as of right now you can't do it because there's a steel beam that goes across the whole front of the building. And the door heights are 9 feet 10 inches, which is extremely low. The door heights of the existing portion of the building that we're saving, which is just this small portion, will be able to be raised to 12 feet once the second floor is removed. And we'll get 2 new bays on the end, which will be 14 feet in height. So we're coming in the back of the building here, and as you can see, more tight spaces. If you want to follow me back here. I'm going to take you to the generator room. The generator is from 1986. We still keep it up every year, but it's getting old and in tough shape, and this pretty much runs the building when we lose power. You have to keep in mind, this is the town's emergency operations center as well, and it doesn't meet any of the state criteria to be an emergency operations center. If you pan up, this was 2 years ago. We had the roof collapse here due to ice dams. This is a constant problem. And yes, we plan on fixing it, but it just keeps happening because the wood's starting to rot, and once you break that threshold, you have to bring the whole building up to code. So it's kind of difficult to do a lot of work without not without breaking the law or not following the state code. So that being said, I think the building's outlived its useful life. By the time we do get a new building, this building will be well over 60 years old. If you want to follow me, we'll go outside and I'll show you some of the outside conditions. And I can kind of give the people an idea of how the new layout will be and how close it'll come to the abutting property. So out here we got a makeshift tent back here. That's for our fire safety trailer that we use to train the children at the schools, because it won't fit in the building. With the new building, it will fit in the building. As you can see, we got some exterior issues. You know, the building's getting old. Things are starting to fall apart. Like I said, we can replace some of this stuff, but you got to be careful what you replace, because once you break a certain threshold of repair, that's when the law kicks in the code, and you have to bring the whole building up to code. This end bay here is actually pulling away from the building a little bit. You can't see from the outside, but there's a crack on the inside. If you look up, we can maybe look at that when we go back in. But as part of the news station project, these two end bays, this back bay and the front one that we're standing at now, are going to be demolished. The second floor is going to be torn off, and the only thing that we're going to remodel is the existing original bays, which we were inside just a little while ago. In place of this bay will be two full-size bays, as you will see on the plan, which is two 14 by 14 bays, and they're double width, so you'll be able to fit two trucks deep in it. And then if you want to walk over here, so we're probably in the new bay space right about now. And then all these trees over here that you see, it's all going to be cleared down. We are allowed to go back a certain amount because the wetlands don't start until pretty far, well, a little ways into the woods. And I did have DEP and EPA come down and stake it out for me, so we know exactly what we have. But all this up here is going to be cleared down. The grass in the front will all be taken away, and it'll all be parking lots, so we actually will gain some parking as well. Come over here towards the local post office. Probably right now we're probably standing in the new office space, which again is on the plan. It will come up to within 10 feet of the property line, but we're going to file for a special permit, and we will be able to put the office space in the rest of the living quarters over here. I did measure it out with a tape measure. It comes out to about that first tree that's right behind the signboard there, maybe a little before that. So you can people can kind of get an idea what they're looking at. All right, so we're back. We're going to go upstairs to the second floor now. I'm going to show you a little bit of the issues up there. The good thing about having it all on one floor, we won't have to put an elevator in, which is a huge expense. This is the only way to get to the second floor other than an outside egress, which is for emergency only. If you look up there, we got some ceiling problems. Again, we can fix to a certain extent, but we can't break that threshold. So this is the hallway. This is the newest part of the building that was put on in 1983 by the kids at Bay Path, which was a really good thing, but unfortunately in this day and age you have to follow the laws, so you really can't get away with doing that anymore. This is the kitchen. which is probably the most modern part of the building. You kind of got everything jammed together here. And then behind you, you have the sleeping quarters, which isn't an adequate sleeping quarters for the overnight personnel because I have males and females. I do have a bed in a back office to separate them, but again, it doesn't meet any part of the building code or the fire code for this type of occupancy. If we come down here, we have our meeting room and some storage space. Unfinished storage space. One thing I almost forgot to mention, there is a mold issue in this building. We were told that by the architects when we did the original study. We have some floor issues as well. You're not going to get this good on camera, but if you step here, it's pretty spongy. You could almost go through the floor. Yeah, and that's our storage space, unfinished space in the dormer. I just want people to keep in mind when the station was first built, it was an all-volunteer service, so people weren't staying here. We do have a combination on-call, full-time department now with full-time medics covering the overnight, which I think is extremely important because it makes a difference between an ambulance getting to your house in 5 minutes or 27 minutes. So it's very important that we have people here overnight, which we do, but it changes the whole way we have to look at the building. Like I said, back in the early 70s and 60s, it was a volunteer department, so nobody was staying here. They were coming from home. But now that we have full-time personnel here, we need to upgrade the building. We have an office here, a makeshift office. It's in with our heating and cooling system. I mean, it was the best we could do with the lack of space. And here's our gym for our guys that work out, and they do it off duty. They usually come after their shift and use it on their own time, but all this equipment was donated to us. We didn't buy one piece of this equipment. And actually this room was unfinished and we did it ourselves. I bought the sheetrock and insulation myself, and a couple of guys that are on our department did the work because they do work on the side, so they volunteered their time to do the work and finish it. So it didn't cost the taxpayer anything, and my guys stay physically fit for a physically demanding job. And the last section, which is what this room used to look like, is basically the unfinished portion of the building, which is just basically used for storage space. But even all this wiring is old. It's from the early 80s, so as you can see, it's in desperate need of an upgrade. So that's pretty much all I have. That's our building. Again, I would urge people to come down and see it for themselves. If they have any questions, they can call myself here or get in contact with somebody here. They can get this packet, which was the same thing that was on the board. And we have another board down at the town hall in front of the town clerk's office, as well as these packets. You can pick these up and peruse through them. And if you have any comments, please feel free to call. Again, we look forward to your support at town meeting on October 24th and at the ballot on November 8th. Thanks. One more thing before we end for the day. I just wanted to go over some numbers. We reduced the cost of the building by $2.7 million. We reduced the footprint from the original project from 19,000 square feet to 14,000 square feet. The total effect on the tax rate would be 19 cents on the current tax rate, 19 cents per thousand. And the average household, the cost would be $42.40 a year, which is $10.60 per quarter. I think it's a very reasonable price. That combined with the low interest USDA loan that Greg Valuconis, our town administrator, is going to procure, saved about 60% to the taxpayer on the overall total project. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind and know that we really did listen to the people and we greatly reduced the cost. And I think the overall cost at $6.5 million is very reasonable considering we live in a prevailing wage state. And we've cut a lot out. And again, it was the original building was 9.2, we're down to 6.5. So I think this is a really good project. It's a really reasonable project, and I look forward to your support. Thanks.